This is my ashtray, and as you can see, it's it's a bit dirty actually, is what you can see. Probably needs a bit of a clean there, but what you can see, it's full of coins, because that's what I use it for now. I use it for throwing in some spare coins and building up a little bit of savings, and that's all very good. But one thing I don't use it for is ash, because about 4 years ago I gave up smoking, and although I do have the sly one with friends, perhaps once or twice a month, I've gone from, say, 30 a day down to 3 or 4 a month, assuming I bother with that. And the reason for that is that I've replaced it with electric cigarettes. So I've been using electric cigarettes, vaping for about 4 years. Now, I had an email from the firm that I use for getting my electric cigarettes and e-fluid, or the one that I mainly use, pointing out that there is another move yet again to try and ban, regulate, or otherwise the electric cigarette market and the devices. They referred to 2 documents, one which was produced by the European Union, which I haven't looked at, and one which was produced by the UK's HMRA, and HMRA stands for the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency. Now, the actual document that they pointed me to is one that was produced in February 2010, which is around about the time I think I did my earlier video on the UK ban of electric or electronic cigarettes. So I guess it's sort of from around that time, but it's not a document I'd actually looked at in any detail before. But as far as I can understand, it's still very much the basis upon which they are thinking of going, and their consultation is pursuing the issues that have arisen in this document. And the bottom line is that they want to take electric cigarettes and treat them as healthcare products, or ban them, or combination of the two, but either way to highly regulate them. Now, there's the principle of throwing out the baby with the bathwater in these things. I mean, one can get very, very cross, animated, bang the table, beat the drum, whatever analogies I want to use, trying to think it through a little bit logically, what it is they're trying to achieve. Now, when there's something new and different, then there may be an incentive to become very concerned about the welfare of your citizens, which is what governments are supposed to do. That's what they're there for, or one of the reasons they're there for, is to protect their citizens. And if they believe that their citizens are at risk from electric cigarettes, e-vaping, whatever you want to call it, then they are right to do something about it. But what I would expect a government to do, or any organisation, any regulatory authority to do, is to first of all look at what the hell it is that they're trying to regulate, or what it is they think they have a problem with. Now, I've been using them for 4 years, and I can tell you now, the way I feel today, after having vaped for 4 years, versus having smoked 30-odd cigarettes a day for, say, 30 years, roughly 30 years, I'm a completely different person. I'm fitter, I'm stronger, I'm happier, I'm more alert. The missus is happier, she's a non-smoker. Life's so much better with electric cigarettes. I just cannot begin to tell any of you smokers out there, if you're still using tobacco, get onto a website in the UK. I'm not going to promote a particular supplier. All we need to do is Google electric cigarettes, electronic cigarettes, and they'll all come up there, and start having a go. And I promise you, you won't look back, because you're going to be better. Your lungs are going to be clearer, your head's going to be clearer, you're going to be less upset, depressed, which I think are all the sorts of things that smoking can have an impact on you. In my personal opinion, I'm not a doctor, I'm not an expert, these are all just my personal opinions. So if you're going to say, okay, for all those people who are currently smoking cigarettes, or have been smoking cigarettes, and are moving over to e-smoking, well, okay, let's start regulating it, and let's possibly start taking it away. Don't do that until you know what the hell it is you're talking about. For God's sake, just don't do it. It's just madness. Madness. Particularly when these devices have been available for so long. They've been available for years. And if the regulators don't understand them by now, then don't go and ban them, then understand them. You might as well understand them now and then make an informed decision as what you should be doing with e-vaping in the UK. And this is going to be the same principle in any country. Go and work it out first, then decide. You know, if we're talking about handguns, something that everybody knows is dangerous and madness, yeah, of course you're going to regulate them. But we're not talking about something like that. We're talking about something that is already proving to hundreds of thousands, of, if not millions, certainly within the EU and probably certainly across the world, that they are getting benefit from electric cigarettes because they're not using tobacco. And as I say, I've been a smoker for 30 years, and I know what smoking is all about, I know what tobacco is all about, and therefore I can tell the difference between moving from tobacco onto electric cigarettes, and I know what it's done for me, and it's fabulous. Okay, yes, I'm still using them. If you're worried about when you're still using nicotine, but my understanding of nicotine is that it's addictive, but it ain't going to kill you. That's the difference. Fine. If I want to waste my money on electric cigarettes and e-fluids, that's fine. If those things are going to kill me, then go and work it out. But I'll tell you something, if they are going to kill me, they're going to do it a lot more slowly than cigarettes ever would have done. Any case, there we go. That's my my opening spiel. Let's have a quick look at this document. It's 28 pages long, which, to be quite honest, for a government consultation document is not very long at all. But there we go. In this document, you'll see a list of interested parties, which will actually include the provider of electronic cigarette materials, such as devices and, of course, e-fluid. So there is a big consultation going on here. As I say, I don't know if there's a more up-to-date document. This is the one that I was directed to, so this is the one I've read. But I just highlighted a few things. And it says, and again, bear in mind, this was written back in 2010. It says here, from the very limited data available, NCPs. Now, an NCP is a nicotine-containing product. That's what an NCP is, okay? As far as this document, that's what an NCP is. So, from the very limited data available, NCPs cannot guarantee quality or efficacy. Now, under quality, they talk about the release of nicotine from the same NCP over time can vary with the reduction over time, indicating instability throughout its shelf life. The amount of nicotine product might not be the same from batch to batch. Okay, right, so from the very limited data available, we'll go and find some damn data. If it's limited, then you haven't got enough to make a conclusion. Go and get some data. Work it out before you start writing these consultation documents. If it says here the release of nicotine may vary from product to product and the shelf life may deteriorate the nicotine or whatever, yet fine. What's that got to do with the price of eggs? That's the quality of the product. That's a consumer issue. That is not a medical issue. It's not a medical health issue because it's not a medical health product. Electric cigarettes are an alternative for people from tobacco. They don't purport to be a medicine. They don't purport to be a nicotine replacement therapy device. If anybody is doing that with these devices, then in my view they shouldn't be. They are not, therefore, something that people are saying should be prescribed by the doctors. Okay, so that first point there seems to completely miss the point because it's a consumer issue that they're raising here, not a medical one. So I don't get that. Efficacy. There can be widely differing amounts of nicotine from the same format, i.e. patch orally via an electronic cigarette, with one form delivering what could be an effective therapeutic dose, another a placebo dose. Yeah, fine, don't disagree with any of that, but the point is that you're comparing electric cigarettes with therapy solutions. It's not comparable because they don't purport to be a therapy solution. If they do, I ain't seen it, and I've not taken it as that. What they have done is gotten me off tobacco. They haven't got me off nicotine because I still use them. They've gotten me off tobacco. And it wasn't a therapy, it was virtually overnight. A therapy, in my view, takes time. So if you're using patches or gum or sprays or all these other things that you can get from the chemist, they are therapies that you're supposed to use over a period of time to completely stop. Electric cigarettes don't do that. They are an alternative. They are to give you a false, what's the word I'm looking for? Not false, but it's to replace the whole process of smoking a cigarette, to give you the sensation of smoke. It's a simulator, that's the word I'm looking for. It's a simulator. And it gets rid of the dangers that you get within tobacco, the carcinogens. Although apparently the FDA in America have done some research and there are carcinogens, they reckon, in electronic cigarette fluid. I don't know, I don't understand that. But if there are, it ain't what you get in tobacco. Okay? Absolutely clear about that, in my view. And again, I'm just talking about my personal opinion and my personal experience. What do we got here? They've got a summary of intervention options. Intervention options. Option 1, whether all NCPs, nicotine-containing products, should be classified as medicinal products, and all unlicensed NCPs being removed from the market within 21 days. Okay, that's the first option. The second option is whether all NCPs should be classified as medicinal products, and notice be issued to the manufacturers that all marketing must cease by a certain date. And here they gave an example of June 2011, bearing in mind that this document is dated February 2010. That's the second option. And option 3 is do nothing. Well, I think we can probably assume that option 3 will never see the light of day. Okay, the government supports option 1, which is in line with current practice. Views are being sought on these options. Let's go back to option 1 again. So what did option 1 say? I.e. the government's preferred solution, whether all NCPs should be classified as medicinal products. So basically your eCigs are going to be called a medicine. That's what they're proposing. It's going to be a medicine. Well, if it's a medicine, then it's going to be a nicotine replacement therapy, and therefore something you're going to buy in the chemist, I guess, or you get prescribed by your doctor. And the whole vaping experience, the whole vaping community disappears. There's no innovation with the development of electric cigarettes, and so on and so forth. And the whole thing falls apart. People lose interest, and they'll just carry on smoking tobacco because that's human nature. That is human nature. If nicotine replacement therapy products worked, then none of us would be smoking. None of us. But the number of people I know who have been smoking for donkey's years like I have, who have found a real working solution in terms of an alternative to tobacco in an e-cig is phenomenal. There's loads of them out there, absolutely loads of them. So, there we go. That's what they're proposing. Let's move on to analysis and evidence. It is assumed that 50% of NCPs will become licensed. A potential risk is the sale of the NCPs from foreign market advertised on the internet, as there are virtually no controls on importation for personal use, and so it is not possible to prevent products advertised on non-UK websites being sold and supplied to the UK, unless we had a banning order in place. Oh, the banning order. We love to ban things. Yes, we don't understand it, we're scared of it, we're frightened of it. Hey, let's ban it. Excellent, go right ahead. So this section seems to be under assumptions, sensitivities and risks. They're worried about foreign supplies of nicotine containing products, i.e. e-cigs. I get all of my stuff from a UK site. I would imagine most of the people in the UK get their stuff from a UK site. They may get bits and pieces from abroad, but it's cheaper to get it from your own country, isn't it? I don't know. Postage is cheaper. And do I trust my supplier? Well, there is one thing that I do believe should be regulated, and that is the quality of the e-fluid. Now, we're talking about electronic cigarettes. Forget the devices. Here's the device that I use. It's the good old-fashioned screwdriver, been around ages. But there you go. What is that? That's a metal body with a battery in it. You're not going to ban that, are you? What you're going to ban is the stuff that goes inside the atomizer, i.e. the e-fluid. It's the e-fluid that's all about. That's really what we're talking about here. So I would certainly like to see that some comfort that the thing that you actually consume, i.e. being the electronic fluid itself, that is manufactured to a particular standard that is safe for human consumption. Now, like anybody else who entered into eCigs when they first started off, then there was an awful lot of trust going on there, because nobody knew about them. I didn't know about them. I didn't really know what was in them. I understood the principle, and I did a lot of reading, and I took a risk. And that risk has turned out to be good. That was 4 years ago. 4 years ago. I've done my research in 4 years. I would have thought the might of government bodies could have done that in this time as well. So why are we talking about banning? We should perhaps talk about regulation as we talk about the regulation of any product, any electrical product. They're all regulated, have to be built to a particular standard and manufactured to a particular standard. I don't have a problem with that. What I do have a problem is when people start talking about banning, particularly after this length of time, and that there's so much evidence out there that people are really benefiting from electric cigarettes. And it says in this paper, it is difficult to estimate the exact benefits of this proposal. No SH1T, really. But the views of both the CHM and its expert working group. Expert working group? Experts in what? They don't seem to know damn all about electronic cigarettes from this paper. Are that NRT products, now nicotine replacement therapy products, pose less harm than smoking. There will also be a better chance of a successful quit attempt on licensed products, and the new indication for nicotine replacement therapy will increase the number of people who reduce their risk from smoking through harm reduction. In addition, as there will be more chances of a successful quit with products that have been assessed for safety, quality and efficacy, that's rubbish, than unlicensed NCPs, use of licensed products will reduce the number of people who are exposed to smoke. There are millions of people who are using electronic cigarettes, people like me, who have basically turned their back on tobacco almost exclusively, okay? There are millions of people out there who have done. There are thousands of people on YouTube talking about electric cigarettes who have given up smoking, do not touch tobacco at all. I still classify myself as a smoker because I might have 2 or 3 cigarettes with me mates a couple of times a month while drinking a pint. That's what I do now, as opposed to what I used to do before electronic cigarettes, which was 30 cigarettes a day and a bloody great hacking cough in the morning. All of that's gone. You should see me down the gym now. I'm 50 years old. I'm great in the gym. That's because I gave up smoking. So come on, guys, let's think radically and sensibly here. You've got these cigarettes that have been used, these electronic devices have been used for years now. Let's base any regulation, and I'm not totally against regulation. Regulation is there for a very good purpose, but don't talk about banning. That is ridiculous. I think I lost the will to... I did mark off a couple of other bits. It says here, just to get an idea of again, option 1, whether products containing nicotine should be considered by the agency to be medicinal products by function, and if so, whether all unlicensed NCPs should be removed from the market within 21 days. Currently, MHRA operates a strict practice regarding the period of notice operators are allowed to comply with under the marketing authorisation regulations, whatever that is, blah-de-blah-de-blah. So basically, again, the proposal, or the option 1, is to basically classify these things as medicinal and remove them from the market with 21 days if they're not licensed. There we go. So manufacturers of unlicensed NCPs will need to go through the process of licensing their products as medicines or make the decision to withdraw their products from the market. If manufacturers choose to apply for a marketing authorisation, the applications will be regarded as abridged complex applications and currently attract a fee of £28,780. Well, that should kill off most of the small e-cig providers, shouldn't it? That will see them right off. So that's basically it. That's where we are with this. I don't know. Can smoking glycerine or propylene glycol or other water-based stuff really be regarded or need to be regarded as medicinal? Does it really? I mean, I can go down to the local chemist and buy a bottle of glycerine and perhaps put some food flavouring in it, perhaps a drop of vodka in it to give me a bit of a kick, simulate smoke, and nobody would bat an eyelid. Put a drop of nicotine in there, okay, to try and get rid of the craving or to control the craving, and then all hell breaks loose. That's what it boils down to. That's the way I see it. My opinions are just my opinions. I could be talking complete and utter rubbish, but there's one thing I do know, is that having used electric cigarettes for the number of years that I have, and having smoked tobacco for 3 decades, I know that electronic cigarettes have made my life so much better. And if we, instead of consulting about banning these damn things, actually said to all our smokers, here's an idea. Why don't we give all the smokers in the country, from the government, a voucher for a free e-cig kit, okay, from a well-respected e-cig supplier, and say, here's your free e-cig kit, have a go at it, and even if 10% of them manage to switch from tobacco to smoking e-cigs, it's got to be a better place for the world, isn't it? It's got to be a better place for the country and for the people that were taking them, smoking cigarettes. I don't know. So there we go. You make your own decisions, do your own researches, read your own material, and see what you think. That's my views. Banning just doesn't solve anything. Over-regulating doesn't solve anything. And calling something a medicinal product when it never intended to be one doesn't seem particularly helpful to me. So look at the culture around the e-cig community. Look at the intense enthusiasm that ex-smokers have for vaping. Go and ask yourself why, and then see the benefits that people have really had from using e-cigs, and then decide whether you want to call it a medicine, then decide whether you want to ban it, because after having done that, you will then be making an informed decision, and then you can go and consult on that basis. That's my view. My ramblings are over. I hope this is of interest to whoever's watching it. I'm conscious of the fact it's gone on for quite a while, but I suppose it's a bit of a passionate subject for me. Anyway, thanks very much for listening to my ramblings, and go away, make your own decisions, go and lobby your MP or whoever will listen to you, and say, by all means look at these things, by all means regulate, but make it based on an informed decision. Don't shoot first. Thanks for listening. Cheers for now.